Hi, and welcome back. We'll be reviewing how to document within your plan of care now. The plan of care is designed to be a multidisciplinary tool centered around the patient's needs. The interventions can be documented from your work list or from the plan of care. Thus, when you are documenting interventions, you are updating the patient's plan of care. Charting any abnormal findings on the patient's admission assessment will prompt suggested care plan problems with predetermined outcomes and interventions, as seen previously when completing the admission assessment. A patient's plan of care can be composed of accepted, suggested, problems, outcomes, and interventions, or a user can build a care plan by adding the components manually. By adding the suggested problems, the system will automatically add the focused assessments for the appropriate body system. These focused assessments all start with assess if trying to manually add the assessment to the work list. Manually adding an assessment to the work list can result in duplicate items within the plan of care. The system will prompt you that it is a duplicate and will give you the option to resolve now or later. Let me demonstrate adding an assess respiratory to your work list. And then an assess vascular. The original assess respiratory did not have a trigger from your documentation originally. The assess vascular does. Note the difference. You have the ability to continue to add and resolve now or not, or resolve later. I'm going to select the Resolve Now option. The Plan of Care tab is located just above the Work List tab. You use this tab to view, add, edit the patient's plan of care. The Overview button displays all components of the plan of care. The Problems button displays all problems with associated outcomes and interventions listed under each coordinating problem. The Outcomes displays patient's outcomes, and the Interventions displays patient's interventions. The footer buttons at the bottom, the Add button, will allow you to add any new item to your plan of care. The Insert Under button will allow you to insert a specific outcome or intervention under a problem on your plan of care. The Detail button will allow the user to view detailed information for a highlighted problem, outcome, or intervention. The user can also add individualized details for the patient using the blue Edit tab within the text box here. The Document button can only be used when documenting outcomes and interventions. Within the Outcomes, by selecting the Document button, this will allow you to say whether your outcome has been met, not met, or partially met. Within the Interventions, by selecting the Document button, this will allow you to document the assessment that's associated with each intervention. The Change View button will allow you to change the mode of your plan of care from a list form to a spreadsheet form. In addition, the Change View will also allow you to view canceled, completed, discharged interventions that have been completed or canceled off of your work list and add them back. These changes can be saved to your preferences. For the remainder of the plan of care, I will review within the list format. The Review tab will allow you to document that your plan of care has been reviewed. The button will turn red if the plan of care has not been reviewed in the last 8 hours. The system does keep track of missed reviews and records when reviews are completed. You can view this information within the Utility tab. By documenting that you reviewed your plan of care, you are stating that you have done a thorough review of all aspects of the plan of care, including problems, outcomes, and interventions. It's important to note, within any of the tabs in the plan of care, by selecting the plus sign at the top, you would have the ability to view the information underneath each problem, outcome, or intervention. Moving down to the Rank button, this will allow you to rank your problems in order of priority. And finally, the Utility tab will allow you to organize your plan of care and view the history of activity. We're going to now be reviewing how to add a problem to your care plan. You use the Add button below and type in your problem. You can either use, by selecting the Problem tab, you can either search by identifier, mnemonic, name, or any word. Once you find your problem, you would highlight it below and then select the Save tab. And this adds your problem to your care plan. To add an outcome to a problem, you would highlight the specific problem you want to add your outcome to, and then select the Insert Under tab. Begin typing in a portion of your outcome, and you have the ability to search by identifier, mnemonic, name, or any word. You can select your specific outcome and then select the Save option below. It is important to note that when you document your outcome, if you document your outcome from the care plan by highlighting your outcome and selecting the Document tab, if you do choose Met, this will not only complete the outcome from your care plan, it will also complete the outcome from your work list. I'm going to now show you, you do also have the ability from your work list to document all of your outcomes. By checking the Outcome box and deselecting the interventions, you're able to view all of the outcomes that this patient has. You can place a check mark next to all of them and then select Document. This will allow you to systematically go through and document all of your outcomes as met, not met, or partially met, and add comments as you need. And select Save when you're done. You do have the ability to add individualized detail to your plan of care by clicking directly in this box with the question mark and then selecting the Edit and then adding detail as you need to individualize your patient's plan of care. By selecting the Save and then the Back button, you have the ability to view the individualized detail from here. In addition, from your work list, you have the ability to view the individualized detail from the question mark column. If you do prefer to use the spreadsheet mode as opposed to the list mode, you do have the ability to add individualized detail by selecting your problem, outcome, or intervention you would like to add the detail to and clicking in the box next to text. And then you would have the ability to add the detail here and select Save when you're completed. The small eye icon does display next to the text, and again you would have the ability to view this information from your work list. In addition to adding individualized detail, you also have the ability to add frequency information to your specific interventions. By selecting the intervention and clicking in the question mark column, you would have the ability to add a frequency on when you would want to complete a specific intervention and then save that information. This will then assign the frequency in the frequency column on the care plan or from the work list in the frequency column. The final portion of the care plan will be reviewing how to manage and customize your care plan within the Utility tab. The Problems tab has sub-tabs of Suggested, which will display problems that are triggered by the system. The option below, the Suggested tab, allows the user to view suggested problems that were undecided, not added, or added to the plan of care. The Status button will allow the user to change the status of all or a selected specific problem to active, complete, deleted, hold, or inactive. The Rank tab will allow the user to move problems up and down on the rank depending on where the patient's need is. The Outcomes tab defaults to the target. This will allow the users to view all of the outcomes and to set a specific target date for an outcome or multiple outcomes. And apply and save to add your target date. A missed target date will appear on the work list with a bullet that is red instead of the standard gray bullet that appears. The Frequency tab will allow the user to view the frequency or assign a frequency. The Status works the same as previously described within the Problems. On the Interventions tab, the Duplicates tab will allow the user to see all the duplicate interventions triggered by the system, either because they were added by the clinician, ordered in order management, or triggered by a problem above. It will allow the user to see if the duplicate intervention has been resolved or unresolved. To resolve your duplicate entries, merely click on the Yes within the WL column. This will resolve your duplicate entries. The Frequencies works the same as previously described within the Outcomes. The Status works the same as previously described. There is an additional status within the Interventions field of Active S, which means that the intervention can be suppressed from your work list. Active S, example, if 2 items contain vital signs as an intervention, the system will suppress one until the other is completed. This will reflect in the status column on the overview page. And then finally, the Review tab will allow you to see who and when reviewed the care plan or if there were any missed reviews. Thank you for joining,